Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Tarot Scopes. Again, we're going to be doing the Tarot Scopes for the sign of Capricorn. That's Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Moon, or Capricorn Rising for the month of October 2023. Why don't we get started? All right, we have some visual aids this month. So we're looking at the month of October for Capricorn. Capricorn is a Saturn ruled sign. Saturn remains in Pisces. In fact, doesn't move very much. Moves from retrograde. It's moving retrograde. So retrograde motion is always about reviewing, reorienting, remembering perhaps. And it moves from 1.3 degrees of Pisces to 30 to half a degree of Pisces. And so it's coming to the beginning, actually, because it's moving backwards, it's going to the beginning of Pisces. And so it brings up some things that began back in March, okay, when it first went into Pisces. That stuff is coming back up for review, and it is going to be moving direct next month. So it does start to move forward, and you start to make forward progress. But Saturn has gotten as far, I think, as 8 degrees of Pisces, and it has moved all the way back to that first degree. And then once it goes direct, it's going to move forward again. So we have an opportunity to move forward on the things that we did, reconsidered, and are about to do again. Now, for you, Capricorn, Pisces sits in your third house. The third house is your immediate environment. It can be your relationships with siblings, it can be your neighborhood. And so things are changing and shifting, and things are being reconsidered right outside your front door. The sun, of course, starts the month in Libra. Libra for you, Capricorn, is your 10th house. So we have the energy of the sun, which illuminates in that 10th house of public standing. People will see you this month for sure. And then it moves into the 11th house of new goals and friendships and group orientation, humanitarian endeavors. That's going to happen on the 23rd of October when the sun moves into Scorpio. Mercury, which has been pretty much just hanging around in Virgo because of its retrograde period, is now moving forward in Virgo. It actually moves out of Virgo on the 4th. So it's only in Virgo for the first 3 days. For you, that is your 9th house of perspective, long distance travel and the like, and then moves into that 10th house on the 4th. And so not only is the illumination in your 10th house, in the 10th house is your natural house. It's where you get to be an authority in your own life, right? And so you're taking back, in a way, control of your place in the world, in what you want to accomplish, what you want to bring to society. And then on the, let's see, the 22nd, it ingresses into Scorpio, moving into that 11th house. So it becomes less perhaps about you, and it becomes a little bit more about the groups that you're connected to. So that's what Mercury is doing, and moving through Virgo, which aligns with your sign, Libra, which is much more of an energy of taking sort of the reins of your life, and then in Scorpio, which is a little bit more of a flowing time. So there's more challenges when Mercury, and also when the sun is in Libra, but you will get that process will bring you to perhaps a new set of goals that you can focus on. Now, Mars, the planet of action, starts the month in Libra. It's been in Libra for, I think, 6 weeks. But it does move out and move into Scorpio. That occurs on the 12th. Now, Mars in Libra is, a functional Mars, but not too excited. It's a little more powerful in Scorpio, as Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio and the co-ruler, if you go by the more modern rulers of the signs. And so very, very penetrating, getting to the bottom, very much bottom line, that Mars in Scorpio. And the Mars in Libra does require us to be a little bit more diplomatic than maybe we want to be. But once it moves into Scorpio, diplomacy is out the window. No, not really. You still have to get along with people, and you still have to be able to interact with others. But in that respect, it's a little bit more psychologically oriented. And so if you really want to succeed, you're going to have to go into that more psychological headspace, as it were. Let's see what else is going on. Venus is in Leo as it starts the month. And of course, Venus was retrograde in Leo for quite a long time, 43 days, I believe. And it's moving forward now, thank goodness. And that's actually in your house of other people's money. So while it was going retrograde, you might have had trouble getting loans or getting people to invest in your ideas. Now that Venus is moving forward, definitely that is shifting and changing. And then once it moves into the next sign of Virgo, that's kind of really when the work begins. That's when the work begins, because Venus in Virgo is very, wants to make sure they get it right. They want to make sure they get it right. And it is in the house about justice. It's in the house associated with the big picture, your philosophy of life, morals, and ethics. And so you might find yourself being a little bit of a cop when it comes to proper ethics and morals, which I think we could all use, honestly. So thank you for being willing to do that for us, Capricorn. Jupiter is retrograde all month. It moves from the 15th degree to the 11th degree of Taurus. That's in your house of creative self-expression. Perhaps you're still re-editing your screenplay. There can still be some issues around children with that. But it's a review. It's a review. And creativity is great, but you have to make sure you have the resources to create what you need to create and be able to, and so you're kind of working on the resources for your creative projects. Of course, now with Venus moving direct, you might actually get some investors in that. Saturn, your ruling planet, as I said, is in Pisces, sitting in your, let's see, where is Saturn here? Sitting in your third house. We spoke of that. Uranus is retrograde. It is moving only 2 degrees this month, 23 to 22 degrees of Taurus. Now, Taurus is a fellow earth sign, so there's a trine, there's a flow of energy. Uranus is about change. It's a little bit easier to change than usual. But Taurus has a harder time of changing than Capricorn. Capricorn is very pragmatic and will change things if it'll make it better or more profitable or just more efficient or more better use of resources. And so I think that's I really feel like there's a financial picture that's really turning for you this month, where it was everything seemed backwards and is it going to work? Is it not going to work? A lot of anxiety. I know I have a lot of Capricorns in my life. And now as October comes, all of that sort of evens out, and you actually start seeing the manifestations of the things you had so diligently been trying to work with, even though it seemed like, I wouldn't say everything was against you, but the tide was against you. It's like it was like you were in a riptide. You have to keep swimming and eventually you make it to the shore. But it has to do with things that are outside of your control. the undertow perhaps was a little bit too strong. Now you're moving with the flow a little bit more. Neptune spends the whole month at the 26th degree of Pisces. So if you happen to have 26 degrees of Capricorn, anything 27, 28 of Capricorn, there is a flow with that Pisces energy, and opportunities with that Pisces energy. So it's not, Neptune moves really slow. It never really moves very, very fast. It spends about 14 years in a sign and about 14 years in a house, depending on, the house system that you use and where you were born on the planet. And it's been in that third house. So third house is your mind, and it's been maybe a little fuzzy. Maybe you're not remembering the way you thought you should remember, but in a way, it's a way to help us sort of loosen our grasp on structures perhaps that have held us back. There's a spiritualizing force to Neptune that people don't always cotton to because it's so confusing and so frustrating while you're in it. And then Pluto in your sign of Capricorn stations direct. Pluto has been in Capricorn since June, I think. July. Moved in like July 2nd because my birthday was July 3rd. And I had Pluto in Capricorn for my birthday. And it's been moving backwards through Capricorn. It doesn't go very far. It's at 28 degrees of Capricorn. Now it's going to start moving forward and move into Aquarius in January of next year. And it's not quite done with your sign. We have about 3 months in the fall when it pops back into that last degree of Capricorn. And then by November, it's moved on to Aquarius, and Pluto is out of your sign. And it has been quite the journey since 2008, has it not? There's usually pretty spectacular things when things come in a sign and go out of a sign. So we'll see what spectacular things are ahead of us in 2024, not to mention that period of time when when Pluto is back in your sign of Capricorn is September, October, November. And then after the elections, it moves back into Aquarius. So we'll see what that's going to mean when the time comes. All right, we have 2 eclipses. We're in eclipse season. I did Virgo already, and I forgot to mention that. I had to mention it in the card reading. We have 2 eclipses this month. It's interesting because the first eclipse is in Libra, with the sun and the moon in Libra on the south node of the moon. And so south node is about releasing and letting go. It is Libra, so there can be relationships that you're letting go of, and it is in your 10th house. So it can be people leaving your workplace, or relationships ending. Maybe it's even a business relationship that's ending with that eclipse. Even though new moons are about new beginnings, because it's at the south node of the moon, it's more about letting go. And Pluto is still square the nodes, with the resolution node being that south node in Libra. And so we're still sort of mucking through some of the renegotiation of relationships that we have been going through since really for about a year, honestly, but in earnest since July. Anything else? No, I think that's, oh yes. And the other eclipse is actually a full moon eclipse, and it's in Taurus. So it's a Taurus. It's close enough to the nodal axis to be considered an eclipse, but it's not in the sign that the nodes are in. In fact, both the full moon and the new moon, and the full moon is a full moon lunar eclipse at 6 degrees of Taurus, which activates your 5th house of self-expression and love, and your 11th house of friends, a different kind of love. There's subjective love, more and personal love, more 5th house energy, and then that 11th house energy is much more love of humanity, love, unconditional, less personal love. So there's an illumination around that. Now, full moons are usually culmination times. Usually things get pretty intense. And so things will probably feel pretty intense when it comes to issues of love for you. And also a little bit of work issues with the eclipses. Both eclipses, in fact, are in signs that are ruled by Venus. So Venus's sort of journey through Leo and now moving into Virgo. We get to see what needs to be done, what work needs to get done. And of course, as a Capricorn, you always want to know that anyway. All right, well, that's what I see for your astrology. Now we're going to do a card reading. I'm going to be using the Wildwood Tarot for your reading. And what does Capricorn need to be aware of in the month of October? October is going to be a much better month than September was. September was really challenging. I know it was challenging. Even though there was all those trines, right? We had a lot of trines in September. So a lot of things manifested. But there was a lot of, there wasn't a whole, like, things were manifesting, but it was almost like we didn't have any control over what was going to manifest. And you guys are used to having a certain amount of control. So ultimately, it's all about getting out of our own way and letting the universe perform its magic through us. But, you know, Capricorns want to be the boss, so it's a little harder for another Capricorn to let go of the reins sometimes. All right. Almost ready. It's a feel. It's not a number. Maybe I should make it a number. When you work with cards, you can pretty much tell them how you want to do it, and they'll listen. So I have to do it 7 times, and then that's it. And they'll make sure that everything gets, you know, done up 7 times. All right, we start with the Hermit. It's the Virgo card. This is about shining your light. This is about a period of isolation. So you're kind of in this somewhat isolated place right now. And you are utilizing the wisdom that you have. Let's see what challenges that. The King of Stones, Wolf. This is the King of Pentacles. This is a Capricorn card. This is about leadership, and it's about figuring out how you want to lead, where you want to lead. It's also a teaching card. So it could be that you have something to teach others, or perhaps you need to take a class. Perhaps there's something that you need to learn. How to have your voice heard. He's baying at the moon, right? You can hear miles away that eerie sound of the wolf. Now, you know, of course, we say the lone wolf, but the wolf is a social. It's an animal that's social, and so while it is about leadership and it is about strength and it is about having your instincts all like peaked, it also is about making sure that the people around you or the other wolves around you are going to be working for the survival of whatever it is that you're manifesting at this time. Underneath it all, we have the Ace of Cups. You know, at the core of it, we just want to be happy. Don't worry, be happy. I wonder if he was a Capricorn. I should check that out. Great song. But at the core of it is the need to feel nurtured, to feel loved, to feel like there's a possibility of your wishes coming true. Let's see what's in the past. Sun, illumination. This could mean that something was recently illuminated. You got to see the truth of the situation, the whole thing in the light of day. This is also a vibration of changing direction. It's a revelation, and sometimes that revelation causes you to move in a new direction. In the sky, we have the 10 of Cups. Well, there you go. Happiness, abundance. It's there for you. Spirit is blessing you with that. Immediate future. We have the Page of Bows. The Page of Bows. Stoat. Now, Stoat is a it's like it's in the weasel family. So there is this sense of having to be aware that maybe not everybody, especially a young person, may be doing things out of your line of vision. You need to be aware of that. And within that, there's a spark of creativity. So it's not all bad news, but you do have to watch the young'uns this month. How it's seen from the outside. This is the Empress card in this deck, called the Green Woman. You're seen as prosperous and somebody who knows how to manifest. The magic of manifestation. People admire you for that. In your domestic situation, we have the Shaman. This is the Magician card. So this is focused intention. So whatever it is you want to create, you just need to focus your intention on it. And utilize all the skills that you have. You're going to manifest. Something gets manifested in your domestic situation. Maybe you're looking for a new house or looking for something new, whatever it is. Put your energy and your focus on it, and it's coming to you. So it'll be like that. Hopes and fears. The Five of Bows, empowerment. Do you have the strength? Do you have the virility in some cases to do what you need to do? The answer is yes, of course you do. Outcome. The Knight of Vessels, the eel. This is another energy where you have to be careful about their intentions may be pure, but they may not be able to back it up. They may be too idealistic. So it's asking us to go with the flow, go where the river takes you, but you need to have some realism mixed in, which of course you're a Capricorn, so that's what you do anyway. And we have the Death card, which is about change. This is called Journey in this deck. So things are changing, things are moving. Generally, it's good. It's a good reading. There's a lot of, let's just say you've been through a lot and you're on the other side of it. But there's still some changes that are going to happen, and there's still a few things that you need to let go of. And of course, I did say that Pluto has one more little period of time where it's going to be moving into your sign. And so you're not quite done. You're not quite done. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the King of Bows, which is the Adder. This is about putting yourself, like removing yourself from the crowd so more people could see you. It's good to be a team player, but you have to exhibit leadership, and this is a leadership card, so that's underneath it. We have the World card here. This is about endings and beginnings, so something is coming to an end. This is a Saturn card. This is a manifestation card. So something is also being manifested. So whatever it is that this process has been, probably since 2008, there's like a baby coming. And I don't mean like a physical baby, although it could be that, even if it's not you, it could be, a grandchild. There is something that is coming to fruition at this time. And in that, once you've given birth to whatever it is that you're going to give birth to, then it's about changing and finding a new direction. And we have the Nine of Arrows, which is dedication. This can be a little bit of stress about things, but I would say don't bother stressing because it's not worth it. It's small stuffs. stressing his small potatoes because there's a bigger, grander plan at work here, and you're part of it. All right. Okay, guys. Well, that was interesting. Very interesting read. I'm going to be doing an oracle card. I'm going to use the Spirit Animal deck by Collette Baron-Reid. I love her work. I love her cards and everything. So we'll use that. Animals always seem to be you know, such an animal. Seems to be a really good conduit for spiritual messages. All right. Oops, sorry guys. Oh, it's the lighting. Back in my cubby. Hopefully this reading is coming out well. Sometimes when I'm in my cubby, it gets a little weird. It's the cubby. It's like a dormer in the room that I like to work in the house. All right, we're almost there, guys. Almost there. Just when it feels right. What does Capricorn need to know? What is the energy? What's the energy Capricorn needs to know? What do the animals have to say to Capricorn? Dear Spirit, bring a gentle touch. Bring a gentle touch. Lovely, huh? Okay, let me read this for you. Okay. I'm just going to read from the book. The time has come to be gentle and diplomatic when dealing with others. You might have found yourself in a situation where negotiations are necessary in order to reach your goal. Be mindful of the words you choose, but do not worry. Dear Spirit reminds you that you have the ability to be sure-footed and confident while showing humility and respect for others. You will find that your capacity for calm and grounded communication is heightened at this time. Follow the way of dear Spirit, and you will do well, gaining the respect of others and finding common ground that is pleasing to you. Remember that understanding others and their needs will be more powerful at this time than putting your own first. And if you do that, you will be rewarded tenfold. It's interesting because really that's what Capricorn does. Capricorn works not just for themselves, although they tend to be ambitious and willing to do the work that's necessary, but ultimately they're building structures for humanity and they're helping humanity figure it out. And so we want to thank you, Capricorns, for doing that. All right, guys, have yourself a wonderful month. Like and subscribe. Any thumbs up you can give me will help with the algorithm. More people can hear what I have to say. If you find this helpful, maybe somebody else will. If you would like to have a reading with me, I do 60-minute or 90-minute readings using astrology, Kabbalah, and numerology. Check out on my channel, my in the news segments, because that's what I do with, you know, famous people. You don't have to be famous. As long as you have a chart and a name and a birth time, I can work with you. So you can do that. And until next month, have it. And I do have a Patreon page if you're so interested in supporting my work in that way. $5 a month goes a long way for me. So if you can find yourself to do that, that's great. If you can't, the thumbs up and the time that you're giving me is very much appreciated. Have a wonderful month, and I'll see you again next month in November for the Tarot for Capricorn in November. But until then, rule. You were born to it. Take care, everyone. Namaste.